Good day, student. I'm happy to be with you this very good day. And it's another year. I use this opportunity to welcome you all, our dearest and beloved students, to the best institution on earth when you talk about distance education, the Institute for Open Learning, IOL, VENDOC. You're welcome. You are the right institution. My name is Edo Triumph. I'm the contact tutor for Computer Literacy 1. You're welcome to this presentation. Which presentation do we have today? We have what is called examination-based presentation today. Examination-based presentation today. It might interest you. You might want to know, what do you mean by examination-based presentation? It's a presentation that we give to you, our students, that already passed the assignment and are getting prepared for the examination. So the presentation is a presentation that is to guide you for the examination in 2021. That's why we call it examination-based presentation. So you are welcome, and I congratulate you that you already passed your assignment. That is why you are qualified to write this examination. Okay, so you've done a very good thing to have chosen IOL. You've done a very good thing to have read and you have prepared for your assignment, and you passed your assignment. So welcome to the presentation. So sit down, relax, listen to Edu as he puts you through in this journey of this presentation. But before we go into detail of this presentation, let us bear in mind that this presentation is for those that take diploma in junior primary education, DJPE Cl1, and diploma in secondary education, DSE Cl12. Because computer literacy is a compulsory module for all education students, we have computer literacy for pre-primary, we have computer literacy for junior primary, senior primary, and other programs. So you need to differentiate which is for you. That is why I made the first slide very clear. So this is for DJPE Cl11 and DSE Cl12. This presentation is for which month? Or for which examination? You know, at IOL we have 3 examinations in a year. No, basically 2 examinations and 1 supplementary examination. So this presentation is for April 2021 examination, August 2021 examination, and the supplementary examination in 2021. So there is no different presentation for different examination. One presentation covers the whole year. Okay? So for those of you who are qualified to write April, this presentation is for you. Those of you qualified to write examination in August, this presentation is for you. Should you want to take a supplementary examination, this presentation is also for you. So you know who owns this presentation. Let's get started in detail. Are you ready for your examination? Are you worried what to study? You see, I receive a call at times and say, Mr. Edo, what am I going to study? What should I read? Different question that we receive on the phone, right? What should I study? What should I read? Are you ready? I'm going to tell you what to study today. So don't get worried again. I'm going to guide you through. Be happy. Just smile. As I used to tell my student, computer is quite easy. You know, I love Kapana and I know computer is so easy than even eating Kapana. So just relax. Edo will guide you through on how to go about your examination. I quite understand you are distant students, so that is why we give you this, so that it can prepare you for your examination. As I said, the presentation will guide you. But take note of these slides. This presentation is not a scope. I want to repeat these for emphasis. This presentation is not a scope. So don't come out from the examination and say, but there was a question that was not in your presentation. The presentation is not here to tell you you must study only this one and study only this one and leave this one. So it is not a scope, it's a guide. Let us get that one very clear. All right? So when you get your examination question paper, how will it look like? Can you remember your assignment? It's almost the same format. So when you get your examination question paper for Computer Literacy 1, you will be required to answer all the questions that are there. In addition to this, there is no practical sections. However, there will be questions to test your practical skills. What do I mean? If you remember in your assignment, I gave you practical work. You did some practicals for me on the computer, of which you printed out. Then after printing it, you submitted them to me. So in your assignment, you did practical where you work on practicals. In the examination, there will be no practical work for you. However, nevertheless, there will be questions that will test, that will examine your practical experience, your practical skills. During the course of this presentation, I will tell you some of those related questions, the format of those questions that test your practical skills. The examination covers the entire module. All the units in your module is covered in the examination. So do not study Unit 1 and leave the other units, or do not study Unit 2 and leave the other unit. You must, as a matter of faith, compulsorily study all the units in your module. The questions are selected from all the units. Do you understand, Edo? Yes. Good. What else will help you in this examination? You remember the assignment you submitted to me? Nah. I marked the assignment. I returned the assignment back to you. Now you have to review your assignment questions. So go back to your assignment question, get your assignment, the tutorial later and the question, go through your assignments. When I gave you back your assignment, I made some comments. There was a general comment and there was a specific comment. Those comments, please look at them so that it will help you to avoid those mistakes that you made during the assignment in the examination. So don't throw the assignment booklet away. Get it, go through it so that you don't repeat mistakes that you made during the examination. Of something very important that students always overlook, which is very important, is the assignment feedback. The assignment feedback. At the end of the assignment, I compile a feedback which was given to you, my beloved student. In that feedback, I made comments on common errors that students always make in answering questions. So that assignment feedback that you got the other time, please go through the feedback and see my comments. In the feedback, you are going to see mistakes that students make and how to avoid such mistake. So the feedback that I gave to you in the assignment, Go back to it. If you don't have it, please download it from your student portal, please, so that you can read it. It will guide you. In fact, it's one of the main ingredients to your examination success, the assignment feedback. Something that is very crucial and quite very necessary, although some students do overlook it, is the past examination question papers. Let me tell you a secret in education. Thank God you'll become a professional teacher one day like Mr. Edu. Even at Cambridge, I have worked for Cambridge before. Even at Cambridge, as long as the curriculum or the syllabus has not changed, as long as the module has not been reviewed, the course outline has not been reviewed, it's still the same. You will see the question revolving around the same trend until it is reviewed. So that is when the past examination question paper can be of a very good, great help to you. So I will implore you, beg you, please, my beloved students, and I like using the word beloved student because I so much love all of you, because I'm waiting for the time you become teachers. You know, you are going to teach my children, you know. So I'm waiting for the time you become professional teachers. So I have so much love. In fact, you have chosen the best career, you know. So go and download all the past examination question papers and go through them. One thing that you will get from it, you are going to see the trend of how question goes. You will see the way we ask the questions, how we frame our questions, how the marks are attached to them. That will help you. Another thing that will be of great, very importance to you for you to pass computer literacy is, do you have your course outline with you? Do you have your module? Do you understand it? Have you ever seen it? Have you gone through your module? Have you gone through your course outline? Do you know all the topics that are there? Do you know all the expected learning outcome? But you may say, Mr. Edo, but I don't have the course outline with me. I don't have the module with me. You do have it with you. If you look at your study guide, there is a page that shows the course outline. In fact, all the units in your study guide, they are written according to the course outline. So you should know them. And very importantly, the Bible said, ask and it shall be given. Knock and it shall be opened. I'm not here to preach to you the Bible. I'm here to talk to you about computer. But what am I trying to say? Should you encounter problem while preparing for your examination, please free to ask help from me. Free to contact me. But when should you start your preparation? Today. Today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Let us go further. The first question you are going to see is a multiple choice question. 15 questions, 15 marks. 1 mark for each question. So you're going to see the first question, question 1, multiple choice, 15 of them. You choose the best option. I want to sound or say something quite very necessary here when it comes to the multiple choice. If you choose 2 options, we'll wrong it for you. Should you choose an option and you change your mind, please cancel the previous one. Do not choose an option without going through all the options. Remember, in a multiple choice, we look for the best option. After question 1, you move to question 2. There, you will see, define the following computer terms. Define the following computer terms. That is the next question you will come across. I'm giving you the format of how the question looks like now, without giving you the question. Now, what are the terms that you can be asked to define? Such as hardware, software, data, information, folder, UPS, RAM, computer memory, supercomputer, computer virus. But take note, I am not saying in this presentation that these terms that I used as an example are the ones that will come out. I'm not saying, I want to repeat it for emphasis, that these terms that I have mentioned are the ones that will come out in your presentation. I mean in your examination. No. I just mentioned them so that you can know what I mean when I say define these following terms. It's things like this. But the question is this again, Mr. Edu. Which unit can I get these terms from? All the units. So I pick them across all the units from your module. I pick this term across all the units. You can only pass this very section, this question 2, if you cover the entire module, if you read the entire study guide of yours. Because I can pick one from unit 1, pick another one from unit 4, pick another one from unit 5, pick another one from unit 7. I pick them randomly. It's only if you cover your study guide. So you must cover your study guide from the beginning to the end. All the paragraphs must be read and practice those as questions at the back of the study guide. At the back of every unit, at the end of every unit, there are questions, activities that you must take. Those activities, those questions, at the end of the unit, they will equip you better and more ready for your examination. Take note, the word to be used here is define. Define. The question is, what does it mean to define a concept? To define means you give the meaning, usually a meaning specific to the course or subject. What do I mean? Do not give a dictionary meaning just like that. This is computer literacy. It's a technological subject. So you don't give the ordinary layman definition to real concepts. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. I've once asked the question in one of my past examination question papers, and I asked, what is a computer virus? I've seen where students wrote for me, these are computer disease. Are you? So some will tell you these are diseases that make the computer to be sick. I know that you have an idea of what you are trying to say, but you are not giving me a professional technical definition here. This is not biology. We're talking about computer virus. So when you give your definition, please use the technical words, the key words, the way they should be used. For example, you say computer memory. Computer memory is a hardware, so you can use well like a component, a device that can be used to store data and information. You cannot say computer memory is a system that can be used to, you don't define it as a software, it's a hardware component. So the use of the words, the right use of the words is very necessary. The way you use the words, very necessary when it comes to computer literacy. To make it better for you to earn your full marks, please add one or two examples where it is possible. Stay away from these short answers. Stay away from these short answers. Just one clause, then you are done. You will not earn full marks if you give your answer in that manner. Let us now move further. Apart from that question 1, question 2, then comes other questions that are compulsory, variety of compulsory question of various mark, various difficulty level. What I mean by difficulty level is that level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. These questions will be based also on your model from beginning to the end. You are expected to know everything in your model before you can answer these very questions. Now, let us pay attention to this. You should know how to describe. You should know how to discuss. You should know how to evaluate, to distinguish or differentiate various concepts. What does it mean to discuss? Do you know? Check your study guide. In all our study guide at IOL, these examination verbs, they are well explained. They are well explained in detail to show you what it means to discuss. And what does it mean to evaluate? You need to know. At times, a student can be so good. I've marked script, you will see at the end of the examination, the students say, I'm very sure, Mr. Edu, I passed that paper. You are not marking the paper well, Mr. Edu. I must go for remarking. It's your right to go for remarking. If a remarking is part of the process. Now, at times when they go for remarking, they get to see that, fine, they know the thing, but they never paid attention to the examination words. Because, for example, I say discuss. Instead of discussing the concept, they only define. They only explain. Now, where the mark is supposed to be 10 marks, then they get 5 marks. They get 4 marks. Because they did not discuss, but they explain. These are some little things that makes a student not to pass or not to have quality marks. For example, look at this sample question, which I always use. It's one of my favorite questions, which says, evaluate the impact of computer usage in our society. Evaluate the impact of computer usage in our society. The question is, what am I going to do to show that I have actually evaluated? Is evaluation the same thing as discourse? Can you see now? Is evaluation the same thing as discourse? Those are the things you must pay attention to. Now look at something else in this question. The impact of computer usage in our society. Anywhere in the society, it can be in education, it can be in commerce, it can be in entertainment, it can be in the banking industry, it can be in communication. They are all facet component, areas in our society. Then you are free to discuss anywhere in society how computer have impacted all these areas. But if the question goes and says, in education, can you see that now? In education, you are not expected to tell me something in education and Mr. talking about banking. This is what I mean. If I say evaluate or discuss the impact of computer usage in education, that is a very specific question. In education. So you cannot tell me at that point computer can be used for banking, computer can be used for playing games. I know in education learners can play games, but you have to be very specific. Discuss things that has to do with education. So pay attention to when it is general or when it is specific. And let me mention something here again. The way you answer the questions to me, the manner of which you answer the question is very important. I'll give you an example. I'm going to write it down. If I talk about a computer in our society, maybe you want to discuss that computer can be used in the banks. So, first of all, write it like this. Banks, computer in banks or whatever, underline it. Then you begin to do what? To explain. As your first point. Okay, let me get another pen. Then, after that, you come to the second point. Oh, computers can be used in schools. underline, explain. You come to the third point. Computer can be used for entertainment. Explain. Then, if the question is 9 marks, telling me bank, that is a fact, I will give you 1 here. Then your explanation, you can get up to 2 marks. So you can have 1 for mentioning the fact, and the explanation, you get another 2 marks. 1, another 2 marks. So at the end, you can get your full 9 marks. Or if it is 10 marks, I can pay attention to other things. Did you discuss? If it was discussion. Did you evaluate? You know, when you evaluate, you must come to a reasonable conclusion. Did you evaluate? So the marks that I will give to you, it depends on how you present. Number 1, your fact. Number 2, how did you carry out your discussion? Was it logical? Was it procedural? Those are things that are very necessary. Do not, my beloved student, write like this. Here you want to talk about the uses of computer in society, then everything is just mixed up together. Both bank and schools and entertainment and games, everything is just mixed up together. Then you say, Mr. Ido, just read and choose whatever you want and throw away the rest. I will throw everything away, my beloved sisters and brothers. Dumping is not allowed. Don't put together both correct and incorrect things together. Although in your discussion, I can see there are correct things there, but there are so many things that are incorrect. So don't just dump both the good ones and the bad ones, then you expect me to take only my answers. No. It means you are not sure. That is what it means when you dump. It means you are not sure of the answer. So you just give all of them together. Then you expect me to separate them. No. This is an examination. You must show, you must demonstrate your competency, your understanding of that thing that is being examined. Because at the end, we give you a certificate which shows that you have demonstrated competency in this module, in this unit. So if you have not showed that by the way you answer your question, there is no way we can declare you competent by issuing a certificate to show that you are competent in what you are not really competent in. Good. I'm sure you are following the presentation. If you are tired a bit, you can take a cup of coffee or tea to relax your mind, or a very cool drink. All right, relax your mind, then we can continue the discussion. Remember, what are we doing? The discussion today is I am guiding you on how to carry out your examination. It's a guide. So don't ignore anything that I say today. You can have sample questions, things like discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using the internet. This is different from advantages and disadvantages of using computer. I have seen answer booklet where student gave the advantages of using computer to a question that says advantages of advantages of using the internet. Advantages of using the internet is quite different from the advantages of using the computer. Do you understand that now? So if the question is about internet, focus on it. It's about computer, please focus on it. All right? Let us continue the discussion. Another very common question that is always there in Unit 1 of your study guide is the computer system, component of the computer system. Component of the computer system. At times we might ask you to use a diagram to describe the component of a computer system. To use a diagram to describe the components of a computer system. If the question says use a diagram, what should you do? First, draw the diagram. Draw the diagram. After drawing the diagram, label all the components of the diagram. So if you say this is input, this is memory, this is output, this is storage, these are the peripherals, please draw the diagram, label the diagram. Thereafter, discuss all the components of the diagram and give examples. Can you get it now? Draw the diagram, label the diagram, discuss all the components of the diagram, and give examples in your discussion. Additional reading point. You can look at the use of smartboard in learning process and teaching process, computer network and types. What are the classification of computer? These are additional reading points. It does not mean these are where the questions are coming from. These are just additional reading points. So don't stick or tie yourself only to these points. I've been saying it since morning. Please read through all your study units. Various input and output devices as well as their function. For example, keyboard is used for what? Mouse is used for what? Monitor. Is it an input device or is it an output device? The printer. Is it an input device or is it an output device? What do we do with it? What are some of the good computer habits? How can you install and uninstall a software? The procedure. Can you classify computers? All these are in your study guide. Now let us come to the other aspect of the question. Remember I mentioned in my introduction to this presentation one thing, that there will be no practicals in the examination. However, we are going to examine your practical skills, competencies in the examination. For example, here now, do you know how to start a computer? Do you know how to shut down a computer? Do you know how to create a folder in a computer? Do you know how to save a document? Do you know how to print a document? Do you know how to check spellings errors and grammatical errors in a document? If yes is your answer, congratulations, I'm happy with you. If no is your answer, it is not too late. What can you do? Go back to your computer and practice how to do all these things. I gave you a task in your assignment that involve all these things. So you cannot remember why I always tell you in your tutorial later, do not give your assignments to people to do for you. Though, true, you can seek the help of people around to explain one or two things to you, but do not allow people to do the whole assignment for you and you submit it. Fine, you will pass. You will score very good marks in the assignment. But when it comes to the examination, supervised examination in the hall, you will not be able to prove that you actually know all those things that you passed your assignment. That is where you will see a student scoring 99 over 100 in the assignment, but scoring 19 in the examination. That's why you see students scoring 70 over 100 in the assignment, but scoring 7 in the exam. So you begin to wonder, these questions are the same format. What happens that this student got 90 in the assignment, but getting 9 in the examination? Most of the reason, or one of the major reason here is most do not get involved in the assignment. They give it out. So in the examination, I will ask you, for example, to explain, I can ask you, for example, to explain how to print a document. So, will you be able to give me the steps one by one? Will you be able to give me the step one by one? If you are going to print a document, can you explain it by writing it step by steps? If I ask you to explain to me how to save a document, Will you be able to write the step one by one, stating the step that if I'm going to save a document, I will click on File, I will click on Save As, I'll put the file name, then I will click Save. If I'm going to shut down a computer, I will click on Start, I will click on Shut Down, I will click. Do you know all those practical steps? You need to know them. Otherwise, you find it quite difficult to pass this aspect of the examination question paper. But you must say, Mr. Edo, some of us are in the rural areas, in the village where there is no computer, where there is no electricity, where there is no internet. My beloved student, I know that some of you live in areas where there might be no electricity, internet, or computers. I quite agree with you. But take note of one thing. IOL has provided these facilities in their regional offices. IOL has provided these facilities in their regional offices. You see, for you to be successful in your academics, you cannot make it if you sit in your comfort zone. For you to make it academically, you have to leave your comfort zone. And what am I trying to say? Take one day off and go to the nearest regional office close to you. Book for the computer lab. Request for a computer that has internet and practice all these things. If you do it 2 or 3 times, I'm telling you, my beloved student, I can't tell you confidently, you will pass your exam. So let us put the excuses behind and look for a solution. If you don't have access to these facilities, get your way to the nearest IOL facilities, regional center, and practice these things. So if you are one of the students perhaps that must have given his assignments to people to do, this is the time to repent now. Confess your sin to yourself. Don't confess to me. Confess your sin to yourself. Say, Lord, I gave my assignment to someone to do for me. Forgive me of my sin, please. Now I want to pass my examination. Please help me. I will go to the IUL center and practice. God will help you, my dear sister and my dear brother. For you, take the bold step and go there. Nah. What about when it comes to Microsoft Word? Do you remember I gave you an assignment on Microsoft Word, which you printed for me and you submitted? I'm going to test you. I'm going to examine you on some of those things. Do you know how to underline? Do you know how to bold? How do you go about it? These are some of the practical questions, although without doing practicals in the exam, that I will examine you when it comes to the examination. So, get back and practice on your system. For me to round off this discussion, I want to make this thing very clear. Computer literacy, if you check your module, is divided into 2 components. Computer literacy and library information system. The computer literacy is 80% of your work, while the library information system is 20% of your work. And from experience and past examinations, students try to ignore these other aspects of 20% of the library information system. They kind of ignore it a lot. You see, it is 20%. So you don't ignore the library information system. There, we're going to focus on things like, if you look at a book, can you explain the various parts of a book? Like table of contents, glossaries. You know, there was a day I asked a question, what is glossary in a book? One of my students wrote for me in the past examination, is when we go for shopping in Mara Mall and we buy glossary at home. It is not glossary, those ones that we're talking about now. You must look at the spelling. The pronunciation might look like. So, student, please, don't ignore this area. Don't look down on it. So those terms, table of content, index, glossary, and so on and so forth. What is a mass media? An example. How do you locate a book on a shelf in a library? Can you describe the procedure on how to look for a book on a library? These are things that you must know when it comes to library information system. What is the difference between a dictionary and a encyclopedia? I love that question. What is the difference between a dictionary and a encyclopedia? Can you explain? And that brings us to the point. When we say what is the difference, it is not for you to just define. I did not say define I did not say define a dictionary and encyclopedia. I say what is the difference. So when you have to give differences, first of all define, then bring out the differences between them. This one has this one do not have this. Can you understand that now? Then, if you want to read a book online, what are the things that you need to have? These and so many other things you can find in your library information system. So I have gone through some of the steps. Just a kind of a recap. Remember, go through your assignment, download past examination question papers, follow all the steps that I have mentioned today, practice on the computer and get used to the practical steps. But above all, our Lord Jesus Christ says, when you need help, ask. Ask Edu. Ask Edu. I am paid to help you. I'm doing my work. Call me. SMS me. Send me an email. Ask questions. But do not call during the day when I'm at work. I prefer calls coming after work. Then I can answer you. Send me email. My beloved students, I love you all. I wish you success in your examination. I want to see you standing like these ones that are standing here. The day of graduation, I want to wave my hands to you and say congratulations for passing computer literacy. I want to wave my hands to say thank you for making A in computer literacy. I want to see you in that black, very beautiful gown as we award you the best certificate on earth that comes from the Institute of Open Learning. I wish you all the best success in your examination come 2020. Bye.